10, 9.
You want answers? I want the truth!
Get ready for two guys who can't handle the truth.
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
But we can. Dave Palumbo, Chris Aceto. RxMuscle.com presents Heavy Muscle Radio.
Welcome to another episode of Heavy Muscle Radio. I'm Dave Palumbo, and I'm joined, as always, by the technician, Chris Aceto, on this, what is it, October 10th? No, October what? 5th,
Yeah,
2020. 5th. Wow.
It's the 5th, and it's almost midnight, and tonight I'm awake. Usually I'm like, oh
yeah, I noticed you were
Dave.
very awake when I started talking to you.
I don't know why. Maybe because
how come you look so good on camera? Like you have to. I know you have probably the oldest webcam of all time. How come
you bought me that webcam?
Oh, okay. That's why it's good.
It's probably 10 years old, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks good though. Still good. Still holding.
You bought me the microphone. You brought me.
Yeah.
You brought me.
Right. I want to make sure we have high quality production quality here.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, we have some shows coming up soon this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
We hear a lot of hype now around the Big Ramy train. You know, I didn't realize, but I forgot Ramy is qualified for the Olympia. So he didn't really need to do this show, but I have a feeling that, because of his less than spectacular performance earlier in the year at the Arnold.
How's he qualified?
I don't know. He's there.
No, he's not qualified for the Olympia.
He is. I'm going to show you. I'm going to prove it to you.
Then they changed the qualifications.
I don't know how they did it. Look,
top three previously at the Arnold was, at least last year, was not a qualification for the Olympia.
Look, this is the Olympia qualifications piece.
Is he there on points?
Let's look at this. Hold on. Hold on. I'm looking at the wrong class. So it's Brandon Curry, William Bonac, Hadi Shupin, Dexter Jackson, Ruli Winkler, Phil Heath, Cedric, Nathan Diaz, Juan Morel. Oh, no, you're right. He's not there. James Lewis, Flex Lewis, Hunter Labrada, Ian Valliere, Lee Sung Chul, Antoine Vaillant.
Yeah, so he's not.
Oh, no, I saw him in the point. He was, that's where I saw it. He's third in points. He's third in points. So I guess he figures he's got to at least get some more points to make sure, because people are going to start scoring points at these upcoming shows. So Max Charles is the number one point getter. Lucas Ossital second. Ramy is tied for third with on win. Regan Grimes and Steve Kuklo, Justin Rodriguez in that next couple slots. So I'm sure we're going to see a lot of these guys competing probably. So Sergio is only seventh. Is Sergio competing again?
No, he's not doing anything.
So he's not going to even try to get qualified for the Olympia?
No.
Why not?
Because he had his qualification in by doing the Arnold Australia 1 week later, and that was kaput. He would have qualified there on points. And then, when you have your strategy set, sometimes when you're pushed off your plan, you don't want to make a second plan. Has he been having trouble staying focused? I mean, or has he been training?
No,
he looks good. He's big. I mean,
so he's just basically taking the year off.
Yeah, taking the year off.
Okay.
Taken probably until the Arnold, if they have the Arnold. Are they going to have the Arnold?
The Arnold people didn't think so. Well, at least Tony Darty didn't think so.
No, I mean coming year, March, which is right.
Well, Tony said in Australia they probably wouldn't have it. I'm sure the USA people will have it. Yeah.
Well, how do we know?
I don't know. Well, I guess we'll what it is? It's really hard to predict, Chris, because we don't really understand, because these quarantines are not going away. I mean, people are still getting COVID, and it seems like the getting COVID is not really the scary part. It's like the aftermath. Like you get over it, and then all of a sudden you start getting blood clots and weird, crazy shit happening to you. I did read a study though. It was done on N-acetylcysteine, which is a precursor to glutathione, and they found that it was like really good at getting people over the symptoms of the disease, lessening the effects of like the if you have any kind of like what is it called, fibrosis in the lungs, it reduced that. Now, I take injectable glutathione every day because I get it from TitanMedicalCenter.com, and I'm a big believer in it. And it's funny because Robbie Robinson told me that he takes glutathione injectable. I don't even know. He's been doing it since the 70s. He gets in California, you can get all that kooky stuff out there, even before it was anyone else knew about it. And I feel good. I don't really get sick since I've been taking it. I think it helps my immune system quite a bit, but. They just released a full-blown study on it. I'm going to do a little RxMuscle supplement and science on it later this week to give people the full brunt of what it is about, but it definitely is helpful. Now, obviously, since Trump got the COVID, they got him on from what I understand, my inside sources, Chris, tell me that he's on every modality.
You can't divulge. I know that's an inside source, but you can't divulge who it is, right?
Everyone can figure it out.
I know they can.
Yeah.
That was my next thing.
Yeah.
If you listen to the show, you can figure out who his inside source is.
Yeah. He's on the whole, azithromycin, hydroxychloroquine, zinc.
Oh, dude.
They got him on
hydroxy. I was going to make fun of him, actually, and say, just get on the hydroxy.
Yeah, he's on that. They also got him on the monoclonal antibodies. So what they're doing is, I guess they're getting people's blood who's had the disease and who have antibodies against it, and they're using the antibodies from their blood, and they're using that against it in people who have active cases of it. I don't know how effective. Well, the science seems pretty solid on it, but in theory, sometimes in theory doesn't really work in reality, unfortunately. So if it worked 100% of the time, we would have a cure for it. Obviously, it's not. In some people, it does help, supposedly, and in other people, it doesn't, and which tells me that it's not doing anything. I don't know. Yeah,
that's a perfect summation, Dave, what you just said. Those 3 sentences, because when I had melanoma, I went to a very well-known melanoma doctor, and he used the melanoma cells from people.
Oh, okay.
And I asked him, should I do it? Does it work? And he gave me the same explanation of you. He said, some people have cancer, they just get better. Some people get... we give them tons of drugs and they get better. Some people give tons of drugs and they die. Some people, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He said at the end of the day, we still don't know. We speculate.
Right. Trump is so stubborn and such a believer in his own rhetoric that he'll probably get over it. I think he'll beat it.
Yeah, well, you know what? Part of if
Biden never got it, he'd be dead, Doc.
Oh, seconds. Because he's so frail. I mean, as fat as Trump is, right? He's still energetic and and robust.
Yeah. He'd be like, fuck. He's probably like, fuck this COVID. I'll fucking beat it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, remember when I think was it Teddy Roosevelt? Who was the president? I think it was Roosevelt. No, was it? Who was the? I think it was Teddy Roosevelt. He got shot. Someone tried to kill him, and he had his a pair of glasses in his pocket here, and the bullet hit the thing. So he was bleeding a little bit, but he wasn't. It didn't never punctured really. It never went deep, and so he continued the speech with the blood running down him, to show that he was a real red-blooded American.
Yeah. I didn't know that story.
Yeah,
but we'll see. As Trump will say, we'll see what happens. I mean, what do you think is going to happen?
I think he's going to be over it.
Yeah. Quickly?
I don't know. That's the question is, will he become incapacitated where they would actually have to have the vice president step in and take over for a few weeks? I don't know. That would not be good. Not right before an election, I don't think.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's sidelined from running his election for the next 10 days, probably.
It's good. It's a good way to get out of the next debate, I guess, right?
Yeah. Yeah. You see, he went for a little tour tonight.
Of
no, he went in his SUV and had.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think he's doing that. You remember this? I can only equate it to. You remember the Sopranos? Did you watch it when it was on?
No.
There was Tony Soprano,
not all the.
He had a heart attack or something. I don't even know what happened. I forgot. Something happened to him, and he was not. And so he wanted it when he was coming back. He wanted to let everyone know that he still was in charge. So he had to beat the crap. He had to beat the crap out of someone, just to let the guys know that, hey, I'm not fucking weak. I'm not there's no vulnerability here.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like Trump. He had to go on a little tour to let everyone know, hey, I'm still here, guys. Don't pull this crap with me. Yeah, it was Teddy Roosevelt. I'm just looking it up. 1912 assassination attempt.
Where'd you get that from? High school?
I remember from my yeah. I learned a lot in high school. Yeah,
I know you did.
Roosevelt was shot at close range by John Schrank, a psychotic New York saloon keeper. Schrank had his .38 caliber pistol aimed at Roosevelt's head, but a bystander saw the gun and deflected Schrank's arm just as the trigger was pulled. How funny is that? People don't try to kill the president anymore. I'm glad.
No,
That was like right? They used to do that all the time back then.
Yeah, well, it's the number one way to get, right? Attention.
Roosevelt didn't realize that he was hit until someone noticed a hole in his overcoat. When Roosevelt reached inside his coat, he found blood on his fingers. He was extremely lucky, however. He had a manuscript of that. I didn't know I had the wrong story, but it's a similar outcome. He had the manuscript of a long 50-page speech in his coat pocket folded in two, and the bullet, no doubt, was slowed as it passed through it. He also had he did have a steel spectacle case in his pocket, and the bullet traversed this too, before entering Roosevelt's chest near the right nipple. Thus, one could say Roosevelt's long-winded and myopia saved his life. The bullet traveled about 3 inches after breaking the skin. It lodged in the chest wall without entering the pleural space. How funny is that?
They didn't have L-glutathione.
He was observed for 8 days in a Chicago hospital, and he was discharged on October 23rd, 1912, only a few days before the election. How funny is that? Maybe very coincidental with Trump. Maybe Trump will get out a couple days before, too. The bullet had effectively stopped Roosevelt's campaign.
There you go. Similarities like the Kennedy Lincoln.
The bullet was never removed and caused no difficulty after the wound healed. So I guess he lost the election.
Uh-oh.
He lost to Woodrow Wilson. I didn't even know that he lost that election.
Well, he went around.
It's interesting because Teddy Roosevelt became president when McKinley was shot. He was his vice president. Yeah.
One led to the other.
It's crazy. People was getting shot all the time back then. I guess they didn't have good Secret Service back then. That's the only thing I can think of. All right, let's talk bodybuilding. Big Ramy. He put some pictures up on his Instagram. Let's pull these up. What do you think, Chris? Give me your impression. First of all, here's the picture of Big Ramy.
He looks scaled down.
So you don't think he looks as big? Is that what you're saying?
No, I don't think
there's a video here too. A little video. He looks pretty big, I guess. I mean, his arms don't look as big as they normally do.
How about the delts and the pecs?
What I notice is his shape looks really good, but he doesn't look that hard to me. Like he doesn't have the grainy like Dorian look, but I don't think Ramy ever has that look, does he?
Well, I don't think anyone's compared him ever to Dorian in terms of graininess, but you can compare him only to himself, and he's been far rounder than this running into shows. Unless this is like just this could just be a game, and he could be like 5 weeks out here, 7 weeks out.
Yeah, we don't know. We never. Ramy is is like an enigma. He's the only guy that we don't really get accurate information on. You know, notice that? And I don't know if that's him doing it or if it's actually, his people releasing these ambiguous, updates.
Well, it's on his Instagram.
True, but I would have to imagine that's pretty recent.
Well, it doesn't look like it's 7 days.
He wrote Spain, can't wait. But that doesn't mean anything, like you said.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd guess that it's some weeks out, and he probably looks far better than that, and he's trying to bamboozle people.
Look as possible. I hope he looks better than that.
Is that his? Yeah.
This is the show is the Alicante, Spain show we're talking about. Hopefully Chris is still
Yeah,
talking.
which is a week out, and I hope that week gets here quickly before Spain goes under lockdown, because I hear different parts of Europe and blah blah blah. Kamal just flew from Turkey to the U.S. You can't fly from Turkey to the U.S. anymore, because that was a strategy to get people to, not just bodybuilders, but how do you get to the U.S.? You go to Turkey, you quarantine for a little bit. Well, he had to go 2 weeks. He had to stay there 2 weeks and then fly to the U.S. Now you can't come from Turkey. I guess too much COVID, I'm not sure. And I think Dave Palumbo froze, so he's probably trying to look for different people running into the show. So, you got a double Dave up there now. There's two. I like it. There's two of you up there.
Yeah.
Now there's one.
I got to get rid of the Nasser one. Everyone liked my Nasser impressions. I did a show with Tom Prince. You saw that, and Milos?
Yeah. I didn't see that show, but you did the Nasser impressions last week. Well,
I did better ones. Tom Prince, and we did the Tom Prince interview, and it was very popular, 2-parter. And Tom said, Tom's wanting to participate more on RxMuscle. So I said, yeah, sure. I love your insights. I love your stories. So I got him on with Milos, and we talked about training. We had a whole segment on training. If people haven't seen it, there's a 2-parter up. And then we did funny stories from like the past. Mm-hmm. And I heard stories that I had never heard before that were really, really funny. Like, Milos told the story, and we put it up. We clipped it separately. So if you guys want to listen to it, it's Ronnie, him, and LQ Gurley. And what the hell was there was the guy from Enter the Dragon, that actor. He used to train at Gold's Venice. What was his name? Bolo? Do you know who the guy was, Chris? You probably trained him over there. You probably don't even remember. So they all were in Hong Kong together, eating. Doing some appearance, something like that. Probably a Weeder appearance. And they were eating at this place. Tom wasn't there. This is Milos telling the story. Milos, Ronnie, LQ. So LQ, they're all eating. And Milos said, I ordered a chicken salad. And I get the chicken salad. And he's like, this doesn't look like chicken to me. And I realized it was all just chicken skin and the fat. And I could relate to that, because when I went to Hong Kong, they think it's a delicacy. When you order like chicken and stuff like that, they give you the stuff that we cut off and throw in the garbage. Mm-hmm. That's the stuff they eat. I don't know where the good stuff is going, because you can't get the actual breast meat there. I don't know where they're sending that stuff to, but they all eat the gristle. They find that appetizing for some reason. Yeah. That's like a delicacy there. So Milos is like, this is terrible. And so Milos starts talking. Everyone speaks like a different language, and Milos probably speaks the most languages of anyone there. So Milos is able to like talk to someone, and I don't even know what language he was trying to talk. You could do the Milos impression. I don't do the Milos impression.
Yeah. It tastes like
yeah. Milos is trying to. He's like, what are we eating here? So the guy tells him that Ronnie, whatever Ronnie's gobbling, Ronnie, when he gets into eating, he's just gobbling the food down, like 100 miles an hour. Ronnie evidently is eating rat. So Milos is like, Ronnie, you're eating rat. And of course, Ronnie looks up, makes a funny face. I think LQ goes into the bathroom to throw up, and Ronnie just keeps eating. So I'm sure Ronnie was probably like, man, this rat is great. I never had rat like this before. Ronnie probably put 10 pounds of muscle on from eating that rat.
We just add more, like I said, more KFC masterpiece.
Yeah, KFC masterpiece. So Ronnie did ate the rat. Milos didn't even. I don't think Milos ate anything at that meal. Probably had dessert or something like that. And LQ threw up. So this is different countries, different delicacies. There was another great story. Did I tell this? I think I told you the story on the phone, but I don't think I told this on the radio show. Nasser, Tom Prince were in, and Milos too. I think they were giving out gifts like to kids, underprivileged kids, for Weeder in California someplace. So the congresswoman of the area, she showed up. And she's like, wanted to go up and say thank you to these guys. Thank you, very generous. You guys give out toys on Christmas, whatever, to all the underprivileged kids. And Nasser took that as a lead in, like, because Nasser would hit on like any girl like around, like that. It didn't matter. So Nasser was hitting on this. They're like, we couldn't believe it. Nasser was hitting on this congresswoman. He's like trying to give her his like number and like talking stuff. I said, Of course he was. They're like, what do you mean? I said, Nasser probably was playing the old intellectual card on her. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, Congresswoman, it's what a breath of fresh air to have a conversation, an intellectual conversation with you. I don't want these guys to hear me, but I'm with these morons. They don't even graduate high school. These guys, they probably, if they don't do bodybuilding, they work in a garbage, dump. Yeah. But I speak 8 languages, and I'm an intellectual. I go to college, and I have these very nice glasses on too. Why don't you give me my phone number? Give me your phone number. I will take you out, for dinner. Oh yeah, we will go for good food, and then we will go back to my place, and I will have sex with you. Right?
Who was he with? He was with Milos and
Tom Prince. Tom's like, you would not believe Nasser was relentless on. I said, I believe it. I said, I've seen him in action. And then Milos told the story about that Nasser had invited him to go out to dinner with his mother. I guess Nasser's mother, either they were in Europe or Nasser's mother came to visit him in the United States. I don't remember what it was. And Nasser's mother is Serbian, like Milos is. Nasser's father was the Egyptian. So when they're going out to dinner, he's like, Milos, he's like, ask my mother. He has to get that smirk on his face, like with his eye going in one direction. Ask my mother, is one woman enough for a man? Ask her. And Milos is like, and as I feel very uncomfortable, asking. I don't want to ask your mother this. No. Milos, ask her. And he's like egging him on. So Milos doesn't know what the fuck's going on. So he's like, Miss, and in Serbian, I said it's probably a lot funny in Serbian too. In Serbian, he's like, Mrs. Nasser, whatever, else somebody. But what do you think about women? I mean, is one woman enough for a man? Not for my Nasser. No. One woman could never satisfy him. I said, well, that right, Milos. Now I understand Nasser's whole problem, right off the bat. You got Nasser's whole shtick because he was raised by his mother, who thinks that he needs more than one woman to satisfy him because he's so great, right?
Yeah, he's a intellectual and a lover.
I said, Milos, how are you not like laughing your ass off? He goes, I was. Because I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to say. Yeah. I didn't even want to ask him the question. He said. Oh, Nasser, I miss him. So that was good. And there was a lot of other good stories too. I don't want to give them all away. Watch the episode; it's tremendous, really tremendous. Also, news from our good friend Roman Fritz. I know Roman since he's I think 18 or 19, which makes me feel really old because he's
got to be what 30.
No, he's got to be older than that. I would think, right? He's going to be in his mid-30s. That's Roman on his Instagram there. And Roman told me that he needs a double hip replacement, I think. He's got no cartilage left in his hips. From Jose.
Yeah.
Just probably from training and probably there's got to be a component of bad genetics in there too. Like, you know what I mean? Like if you're prone to that, because we know people that have no problems with hips and they've trained hardcore their whole life.
Yeah, they've squatted forever. Tom Platz is still squatting.
Yeah.
There'll be a video of him squatting at 60 or something like that. Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
He's doing some leg workout. He's going crazy on his, I think it's 60th birthday.
Wow.
His legs are still big and peeled.
Yeah, I imagine they probably are. So good luck. I don't know when Roman's getting the surgery, but I told him, get it. He can't even get out of bed. He told me he's in that much pain.
He's worth some pain.
You know what? We're none of us are immune. We're all. I mean, when I saw Ronnie Coleman needed all those surgeries, I thought Ronnie would escape with nothing. I figured he'd be training till the way he's training now until he's 90.
Yeah,
I really believed it.
Yeah, but you were wrong about that.
No, I was absolutely wrong about that. I'm sorry, I was bad.
No, I mean because everyone thought he was. I mean, his title to his video, his VCR, whatever, it was Invincible.
Yeah.
And we thought he was, right?
Yeah. I said he was unbreakable. That's what I said.
Yeah.
Hold on, I got to pull this Tom Platz video up here. This is crazy. Look at this one, Chris.
That's the one.
Look at legs. Look at those legs.
Yeah, I know.
Still. They're still amazing.
He's still got the tan too.
We talk about guys that when they're in their 50s and 60s. This is at 65. They can't have big legs. Bullshit.
Dave, when I met him in '87, he had that crazy black convertible vet.
Mm-hmm.
It was the only thing he liked better than bodybuilding, I think, was that vet. It was gorgeous.
Do you see what he has this thing? At 65, my response to Chaw's food, Chaw's his wife, food suggestions plus the best tasting protein shake once a day. My 28-ounce shaker, only recipe. Coconut ice cream, 1 level scoop, 2 to 3 whole eggs. And Chaw added 1 tablespoon of raw honey today. Now, I'm not sure if it's Manuka honey from the George Farah honeybee colony, but it does say 1 tablespoon of honey in there. That's his, I guess, shake he has every day.
You know what's crazy? How old is he? How old is he? 65?
65, yeah.
Okay, so when I met him in '87.
Look at that. Look at that picture, Chris.
That's crazy for 65. That's crazy, right?
I don't know if this might not be from 60. This might be. Hold on.
He's got the same socks on as that leg extension.
Yeah.
Well, the same green. Yeah, probably color. He loved the
No, that. I think he's got it. Photos in the collage. Far left, 1982, 85, 86. I don't know. Oh, that's this. That's this. These are the older ones.
So when I was going to say when I met him in '87, I was like 20. He was probably like only 32, which means he'd been at the Olympia already for 83, maybe late 20s, I guess. Well, he was in his heyday in his late 20s.
Yeah.
He made a lot of money during that period.
Yeah, I think he was very popular too, Tom.
He used to travel everywhere. He's
still popular. I bet he still gets a lot of books, stuff and seminars and stuff. Although now with COVID, I don't think anyone's doing anything. But so the question is, getting back to the original question.
Yeah.
Ramy, what's your prediction? You're pretty good with predictions. What's your prediction? Is Ramy going to go in and decimate Spain, or is he going to go in and lose to someone?
If he looks like that a week out, he might be in big trouble.
Really? Now, I don't really know who's in the lineup. I don't know the whole.
Was in the lineup.
Regan Grimes is in the lineup. I know.
Matt was in the lineup because if you're judging the show, your expectation is like gigantic.
Right.
You do okay. Let's just do this. Do you think he's 300 there?
No.
275.
Right.
So I mean, last show he was 315 or 310 or 30 whatever. So that doesn't look like 300 pounds. So in other words, what I'm saying is judges judge you based on what you have looked like. So there may be a letdown factor there.
But is there anyone in this lineup who's got enough to knock him out? That's the question.
I guess we'll have to see.
I'm surprised we're not seeing it, and maybe we will. I don't know, because God forbid they release a
list of
competitors like a couple like a week out.
Yeah.
But why wouldn't Hadi Shubin do the show?
He's qualified.
No, but I'm saying he might not be. He probably can't go. He might not be able to get to the Olympia. He should definitely do a show, though.
I mean, why would you do a show when your goal is? I'm sure he has to be getting ready for the Olympia. Whether he gets here or not, he's getting ready for it.
Yeah.
So why waste the energy? Because this is like 10 weeks out from the Olympia. I mean, it's hard to I just peaked for Spain. I'm going to redo it again 10 weeks.
Right.
What do? Do you like to let you wake up for?
Yeah. Are you playing with your microphone at all?
No, it's my chair. It's speaking.
Oh, okay. Well, I would if Ramy loses, that's got to be that. I mean, if he loses to someone, especially who's like a guy, like a second tier guy, right now, that would be like a huge blow to him, I would think.
Yeah.
Rafa Brandao, that picture you sent me, he looked great.
Yeah, it looks better than ever.
I wonder if I can upload that picture
I
somewhere.
sent you two. I sent you a lat spread and a front double.
I know. It was. I didn't even. To be honest with you, I didn't even recognize him. He looked so good.
I sent it to someone else too, and they said, "Who's that?"
But we haven't seen him. Also, when was the last time he was on stage?
Arnold when he was 6th, I think, or maybe he did a couple shows after that. Oh, Arnold Brazil when he was 2nd to Juan. Maybe.
Oh, yeah, maybe, yeah. Yeah, that's a while ago, right?
Yeah, but that's not the same body that was competing a year and a half ago.
He looks like. What does he weigh here, Chris?
258.
Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot of weight he put on, huh?
Well, he's tall. I mean, no, because when he was in the Arnold, he was 250. So, you know what I mean? When he looked really good at the Arnold that year, I think he was 250, but 8 pounds on that structure, right?
I'm impressed.
I know you'd be impressed. Look at the quads on him.
What's his Instagram?
Tags. I don't even know, Rafa. I don't know because I tagged
There's
like
like a million of them.
Yeah, and I tagged a fan. I was trying to tag someone.
He's got like 400 people that have the accounts on his name.
I know. And I tagged someone, and they go, "You're not even tagging them."
I don't even want to tag anyone because I'm not. I don't think I'm tagging the right person.
I'll find. Because he tagged me on something.
That was me.
Oh, that's your interference?
Yeah. If God forbid my phone goes too close to the microphone,
Oh, I don't even know what his is, Dave. Believe it or not, he tagged. I don't keep up.
What is this? 1 week out?
That's today, yeah. So, can you get it up there? People like it.
I'm getting it up there. Yeah.
All right, Dave Palumbo with the high tech.
I should have put it up before. What is it? What is this show called? The Grand Prix Spain?
Spain Pro Show, I call it.
It's the Europa. You're right. To make it complicated, the Europa Championships that are going on.
Is it the Europa? The Europa?
Yeah, but I don't think it's our Europa.
Oh, it's Europa.
Yeah.
It's not the Parizos Europa.
No.
Got a time delay getting front double up. You got to look good by the time you get that up there. There'll be some really good European guys, I'm sure. It's not going to be a cakewalk for Ramy, that's for damn sure.
Let's pull this up.
Looking like that. If he does look like that.
I mean, Rafael is not as big as obviously Ramy, but he definitely brings ridiculous conditioning, which has to count for something,
Yeah. Well, who is as big as Ramy besides Rolly?
Yeah, I'm surprised. Will we see like a Rolly Winkler there?
No, Rolly's qualified for the Olympia, right?
Yeah, I know. I don't know, but I don't know why these guys wouldn't want to warm up. I mean, it's been a long year.
Because it's been a long year. I mean, how many people? A lot of people have had their prep interrupted in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah. Oh, here he is.
Maybe not people getting ready for the Olympia who've been qualified for a long period of time, but
it's a good shot.
Yeah, I'd like to see bigger legs on him. I'm kidding.
It's good. I'm always jealous of the guys that have the huge like teardrops down low.
Yeah.
I see that a lot in the Middle Eastern guys. We talked about that before.
I knew you were going to say that, yeah.
Yeah, well, we talked about it, yeah. But he's got good – well, I guess, the Brazilians have good legs too.
You got the front double on that?
No, come on. So would you stop? I only uploaded one. I'm not uploading another
one. Oh, my goodness.
I like this shot. I thought this
Let's upload Lee Priest's GoFundMe campaign.
What do you think about that? You were very negative when I talked about that.
Yeah, because Lee Priest would be very negative of any other bodybuilder.
So you think he's full of crap?
He's driving around a Mercedes. People don't like hypocrisy.
Maserati's driving around.
People don't like hypocrisy.
All right, so we're talking about the Lee Priest neck and operation and stem cell treatment GoFundMe. He's trying to raise $100,000. He's got 4,200 already. So some people are outraged by it. Some people are fan supporters. I see there's a lot of people donating.
actually, they're not supporters if he's only raised $4,000.
Yeah, people are cheap too. Then, and plus, these are tough times right now. Lee's, I guess, rhetoric on this is his take on this is: look, all these fans want me to compete. Okay, it's going to be a lot of money I'm going to have to pay out of my pocket if I want to compete because I got to get the surgery. I got to leave the country to do that. I got to get stem cell treatment as part of the process, and then I got to, prep, buy all my stuff I need to get ready for the show. And travel. So he's like, I figured, what, if they really want me to do it, I'll do it if the fans get behind me and I raise the money. And if they don't get the money and I don't meet my goal, I think he said really needs about 50. If he gets 50, he'll be happy. He said, if not, I'll just refund everything. I said, all right, well then that's reasonable. If you're going to refund it, if you don't compete, I guess that's a I guess if the fans want to pay it, why not? When these billionaires, Chris, go and buy buildings, you think they use their own money?
Of course not.
No, of course not. They use other people's money. They use their own notoriety to raise the money and to get people behind the project. So Lee's kind of doing the same thing. I understand.
But they buy a building. I mean, is there an expectation?
Well, but the fans want to see Lee on stage. It's not Lee is not going out and taking the money and buying.
Well, I guess they
house.
They're voted. Then they have not. They don't want to see him on stage because he's only raised $4,000.
Right. If he doesn't raise the money, then I guess you're right. They don't want to see him on stage that badly.
So at what point does he decide to start refunding the $4,000?
I don't know. It's a good question.
Is it all or none? Is it all or none? Is he going to?
Yeah, I don't. He said he wouldn't take the money if he doesn't compete. So.
Well, if he doesn't reach a certain amount, but what if?
Well, yeah, I said, how much do you really need? I said, he's like probably about 50. I could do it with 50. I said, all right, well.
So if he reaches $50,000, is he only going to train half as hard for this show, or?
No, if he gets $50,000, that'll be enough to get him, I guess, through, and he's, and he'll do the show. He'll get the surgery. Well, first you got to get the surgery, which they got to do some kind of release of the nerve. And then they say they want to give him stem cells to help the nerve regenerate, but there's still no guarantee that he'll be able to bring, get that feeling back. And I guess he has some nerve impingements where it's preventing the muscle from firing properly. So he's got some asymmetry to his body. But we could always get what's his name to jimmy him up, catch, if necessary, right before he gets on stage.
He wants to compete again.
He does. I think Lee legitimately does want to get back on stage, and one more time. And he's frustrated because, it wasn't like he hurt himself in the gym. It was a car accident,
Mm-hmm.
and it cut his career short, and I think he realizes that, sometimes you take things for granted. He was on top of his game, and that's when he got kicked out of the IFBB. He started making weird comments, and then he wound up doing that NABA universe that he won, which he might have looked the best he ever looked at that show. So, and then he didn't compete for a couple of years. So, he kind of squandered away the best years of his career when he was at his peak of his powers. So I think, what happens. You kind of regret that a little. He'll never admit that, but maybe he will now that when I get him on the TV show. He'll tell me if it's true or not. And, I think he wants to try one more time, see what he's got. I don't think he's deluding himself into thinking that he'll be as good as he was at his best, but he wants to at least try to come back and see what he can deliver, I guess, at 50 years old or close to it. I don't think he's 50 yet.
Well, you got two role models out there who are 50.
Yeah. I'm interviewing this week, Justin Miller, my friend Justin. He's training this guy, what's his name? I showed you his picture. You were pretty impressed with him.
Yeah, very impressed.
Austin Carr? Is it? Yeah, Austin Carr. Karr. He's 5'8", 217 right now. Obviously, he's got to make 212. He'll be at that show in Chicago, which is really in Atlanta. I think that's the show he's doing. Is that the show he's doing? 17 days out. He must be.
2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Yeah. So he's doing the Chicago. He looks really good. He looks really, really good. So we'll see how he does. He might surprise a lot of people. He might be a dark horse guy in that 212 division. I think he'll do well at the Olympia. He's talking about Tom Platt's legs, right?
Oh yeah, crazy sweep and good shoulder width. On the front double.
Yeah.
So, I mean, his condition, he's in very good condition as well. So is Justin, are they going to be like side by side? I know Justin likes to do the interviews like right next to the.
Well, I told Justin to come on too because Justin, I like to hear Justin's the whole story.
They wouldn't be side. That's right. They social distancing.
Yeah. Who knows? Justin does do stuff. He's got the George Peterson at his house. Yeah. Let me pull up Boston car here. There we go.
Even more impressive the second time I see him.
Well, doesn't really have any weaknesses. The guy. Here's another good. Look at these. Talk about Tom Platz's legs.
Yeah, quads is superb. Go back to that front double.
Yeah.
Oh, go to the one right there where you can see the back. Pump that up. Open that up bigger.
Let's see if we can get it a little bigger.
Yeah, he's very good.
He's got glutes, he's got hams, he's got thick back.
Everything.
He's very impressive. So.
Put him on the cover, Dave. Next issue. How's that?
I'll give him a contract. Tell him we'll make him a star. He was always making everyone a star.
Yeah, he wouldn't let you forget about it either, right?
No. Make him a star. No, that was his shtick. That's how he got people on stage. That means how he got people on the to do his magazine.
Yeah.
We'll make you a star. Isn't it true though, Chris? Every bodybuilder when they compete, they want to hear those. Well, at least back when we were competing, you wanted to hear a magazine publisher, you wanted to hear a photographer, you wanted to hear someone like Jim Mannion tell you you're a star, right? I mean that you got potential, you're going to go all the way. I mean that validation, and it couldn't come from your girlfriend, it couldn't come from your best friend. It had to come from like someone in the industry,
Yeah, it could be like a Blackman or Peter McGough or JM, right?
Yeah,
JM shot Joe, so JM could say like, you got a good shot at nationals and winning it. And some bodybuilder would be like, wow, on cloud 9.
And then you always hear
it's validation. Now the validation is Instagram likes.
Right. Well, it is. You would hear like Tom Prince told me when I was interviewing him. Like Jim Mannion came up to me after I forget what show it was, and said you got to do nationals. And when Jim will never say like you're amazing. If he says you should do nationals, that means that you look really good. I said Jim never said that to me. I said Tom. He never told me I should do it.
How you doing, Dave?
He gave me a compliment once, which was which was amazing. I thought after I did 94 nationals, Jay Cutler won. I was 4th. He's like, he goes, I don't even remember what he said. He said something like, bring down something or work on this. He says, you could have won this class. That was a tremendous compliment to me. So, but some guys get really good compliments from Jim. You get a compliment from Jim, you're on your way. Remember when I was helping Evan Centopani, I think it was 07 or something like that. He placed second at the Nationals behind Desmond Miller. Remember Desmond?
Yeah, Desmond was phenomenal.
Yeah, that Oscar was helping him, and it was really close. But Evan was still wet behind the ears, and he was shredded. He just needed to work on a couple of things, and he did win the year after. And Manny told him, come back, do it. Next time's your turn, that kind of a thing. And I said, Evan, I never heard those words out of his mouth from me. I said, so take it to heart. I said, listen to what he told you. And it's funny because Evan was used to hit the side tricep in a weird way. He would hold his hand rather than like this. He would hold it like this. I don't know why. I thought his arm looked bigger. And I was yelling at him before, Evan is very, stubborn. And he's like, no, I think it looks better. I said, I'm telling you, it doesn't look good. So Jim goes up and he gives him the compliment. He goes, very close show. You could have gone either way. Come back, next time, looking like this, no one's going to beat you. And then he's like, by the way, he goes, who taught you how to hit that side tricep? He's looking at me. I'm like, it wasn't me. I said, I told him not to do it that way. He's like, yeah, you got to turn your hand around. Yeah. It doesn't look right, So. Jim, the great thing about Jim Mannion is, you could love him or hate him, but the bottom line is he's a bodybuilder first and foremost. So you could never say his opinion is not valid because he actually got up there and he competed. He won shows, back in his day. Yeah, he wasn't Mr. Olympia, but it didn't matter. He competed, so he's got the in the trenches experience as well as being a guy who's been doing it for whatever 40 years, however long he's been in the business. But he competed. I mean, it's almost like you should be required to compete, don't you think? Like if you want to like be a judge or if you're something like that. I always believe that.
Yeah, I mean, I think I think it helps for sure. But the flip side is, let's say he didn't. If you've been looking at bodybuilding shows for 40 years,
right?
It's like, how long has Weinberger been a judge? You can.
Yeah, but Bev competed. He was immersed in it like two.
My point is, if you're immersed in it for 40 years,
I guess so.
Pick 1 through 10 in an extremely high level show.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. But you can't. But I'm saying sometimes it's hard to give advice to people if you're not actually doing it yourself, like how to improve and what you need work on. Because I've heard a lot of guys. You hear these judges tell all the time, "Hey, you're too flat. You got to come in full." No, they're not flat. They just need more muscle. Or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I've heard judges tell.
I've had people I've helped who I think look good, very good, tremendous, and don't have enough muscle. And a judge give them an exact carb-up protocol for the last 2
Oh my God.
And I say, listen, you need another at least year of good solid training.
Yeah. I told that to Akeem and won for many, many years in a row, and they didn't like it, believe me. But they knew I was right, and they made the improvements.
Yeah,
they arrived finally. But I've seen judges. I had a judge tell me once, Chris, that I wasn't hard enough. I said hard enough. I said it was the hardest guy in the whole show. I said I don't think I'm overstepping my bounds saying that. He's like, well, you are, but I don't know. So I think you need to have more. Separation or I don't even know what the term you used was.
More veins.
I said, were we watching the same show?
Yeah, that's disappointing.
Yeah.
It's good because it's good to get constructive criticism because it hurts sometimes. But
right.
When it's wrong
Yeah.
criticism, then it's
and I've had a lot of judges tell me good, like exact on the money, and I'm like, yep, you're right. Absolutely. I definitely work on that. And you're right, So some guys have it, some guys don't. But I find that the judges that have competed tend to give the best advice when you go up and talk to them afterwards.
I would agree with that.
The John Natashaks, Linda Wood-Hoyts, Bev Francis, even Jim Raquel was pretty good. He competed too. Jim Mannion. Steve was great because Steve was in the trenches there with Bev. I mean, and Steve trained. He didn't compete in bodybuilding, but he did everything but get on stage. I mean, so he knew all the nuances of that. And these guys, that's the best advice you get. Even Sandy Williamson competed. A lot of people don't know. She had good insights sometimes. Yeah. But she's not really, she's more of the women's judge. But I'm talking about, I've seen her give a critique to some of the women, and I'm like, yeah, she's pretty right. She's on the ball. Sometimes she wasn't, but sometimes she is. So, if you're going to be a person who wants to get involved in judging and doing that, get on stage at least once. Just go through the process. So you can say I did it.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, of course, you get a guy like Bob Gruskin. He's a complete anomaly,
Yeah.
There's no explaining how he has such great insights. He was imbued with them.
How did the Williams sisters get coached by their father?
He didn't even know what he was doing.
No.
He just worked.
When they were, you saw that there was a documentary when he was, eventually they went out to like work with the best tennis pro around, and the father had to take him over again and said, "You don't know what you're talking about."
The Venus Williams father training them for tennis would be like Cedric McMillan training his kids for tennis, right?
Yeah,
he'd do all kinds of he'd make his own machines. They'd be
rackets.
They'd make wooden rackets for them. He'd have like the old wooden rackets they had in the 70s. He'd be like, "Man, wood is much, much better."
Yeah.
And these fiberglass, they're crap, you know. You got to use wood.
Yeah.
Get better. But yeah, the Venus brothers, sisters, excuse me, father would make them do these crazy drills, like throwing the tennis racket over the top of the tennis gate. Almost like, you know, how like in the Highland games they do that, where they have to throw the pole over and people would come by and, what the frick is he doing? I think it was just like, he would make up stuff. He said, like, anything crazy that would involve the tennis racket, just having a better idea of a good feel for the racket, for the balls, juggling the balls. He had him do crazy drills. Like,
And he
the truth,
documented it all.
but you know what the truth is, Chris? It's like when you see people who can train, like, oh, I got Dexter Jackson in shape, or oh, I got, you know, Ronnie Coleman in shape. And I'm not taking anything away from the people who've done that in the past, but it ain't that hard. These guys, they're the best in the world, you know?
Yeah, but just the idea that he
disciplined them is what he did, Chris. It didn't matter what he did with them. He could have had them run in fucking circles, you know?
Yeah, well, I mean,
he made them work hard, so they had a work ethic that was second to none. And then the skills will come with practice, you know? I think that's my belief. I think it was the fact that he was, you know, and I'm sure they hated his guts while he was doing it initially, until he started winning shit tournaments and then winning money, you know? That's a nice inspiration, you know? You know what? Maybe Dad was actually right after all. We hated his guts while we were running all these drills and doing all this crazy shit, but now we're making like millions, you know? So, but then you have the fathers who do the same stuff, and the kids hate their guts, you know?
sure.
They just happen to, you know,
They're forced.
he made it fun for them. Like, they wanted to spend time with Daddy, you know? That's what it was, you know? I bet if he had sons that he did that with, they would have told him to go F himself and would have probably walked off the court.
Speaking of sons, what happened to John Brown's sons? Did they remember? They did.
Weren't they in the NFL or something like that?
Yeah, I didn't know if they made it to the NFL.
Oh, I don't know.
I think they were like top picks for the NFL.
Yeah, I haven't followed up that story. I actually want to get John Brown on the TV show and interview him. I haven't had him on.
Yeah, it'd be a good one to have.
Yeah, just to get I want to get his insights on the whole, you know, Melvin told some funny stories, you know. Obviously, we've heard plenty of Sean Ray stories about John. I interviewed John years and years ago on the radio show at Muscular Development, I think it was. So I kind of know, you know, his story, but you think I remember anything I asked him? No, absolutely not. And no, the funny thing is, this industry as a whole has a memory span of maybe 6 months.
Yeah.
You know that I can interview the same person probably every single year and do the same interview with the same questions, and I would probably have more and more hits, you know. And no one would say, very few people would say, yeah, asked these questions last year already, you know?
Well, it's like a restaurant. You know, a small restaurant might have, you know, a couple hundred or 200, 150 regulars, but they have thousands of people who come and go into their restaurant. So, you know,
True.
Shows like this show get recycled. People stop listening, then they listen. There's regulars.
Right.
It's always
That's true. So, I'm afraid to tell we tell the same story sometimes, and I'm afraid, and I'm like, you know what? No one even fucking remembers the story, so I might as well retell them.
You probably can just like take last year's October 12th show, next week's
just run it
next week and run it.
Right.
And say it's October 12th.
There you go. That's what I'll do.
People say good show.
Yeah, good job. Yeah, just relabel, retitle it, and everything like that. All right, what else? What else do I got on my docket here? So who are you helping for the upcoming show?
I got Rafael. Let's see, that's it. I got Rafael and I got Jamie DeRogo in the 212s.
Hey, let's talk about these other divisions. Hold on, that's what I wanted to do. Thank you for reminding me.
There's not a list, right? So who knows who's in it?
No, but there's. I wanted to go over the list of the Olympia qualifications. All right.
As in, which shows qualify or which people are qualified?
Which people are qualified? All right. Got it? All right, here it is.
Yeah, let's go through it.
All right, so we talked about the men's open.
Yeah, go through the names. Run through the exact names, Dave.
All right, so we have Brandon Curry, William Bonac, Hadi Chupin, Dexter Jackson, Ruli Winkler, Phil Heath, Cedric McMillan, Nathan Diasha, Juan Morel, Flex Lewis, Hunter, Labrada, Ian Valliere, Lee Seung Chul, that was from the Korea Pro Show, and Antoine Vaillant, who just got the win recently. The top three will go on points. So far, the top three right now is Max Charles, Lucas Osladol, and Big Ramy tied with on win. A lot of these points are going to change, obviously, over the next couple of weeks because we have a lot of people, who are going to be competing in these upcoming shows. And the people who compete the most will probably be the people who wind up going. They're the ones who get the nod. Now, I thought it was always top 5 that qualified on points. Maybe they changed it this year.
I don't know.
Now, in Alicante, Spain, you're going to get 3 qualifiers. They're going to give 3 spots. So that's another 3 people. You're going to get another person at the Chicago. And of course, you're going to get points. And then I don't know. Is there another show like right before the end of the Olympia?
There's the
Romania, something.
Romania, it's 5 or 6 weeks. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Assuming that one goes off. Now, in the 212 division, the qualified guys are Kamal, who's the reigning champ, as people know, Derek Lunsford, Sean Clarita, John Jewett, Ahmad Ashkanani. How did Ashkanani qualify?
No idea.
David Henry, Hide Yamagishi, Angel Calderon, Guy Cisternino, Sung Won Kim, George Peterson, Detrick Bo Lewis, and Kim Jung Ho. And the top 3 point getters right now are Derek Oslin. He's got 12 points. Jason Lowe, your guy. Errol Moore. Those are the top 3. And then you got Aaron Clark, Adam Young, Kevin Johnson right below them. And so, once again, we're going to see a lot of people competing probably, and that's going to change. I just showed you a picture of Carr over there who's going to kill Austin Carr. It looks like he could do some serious damage. And you got, obviously, what's the guy you helping in the 212?
Jamie DeRogo.
Oh, okay.
First, second pro show.
Yeah. In the classic physique, we had the qualifier guys who are qualified as Ricky Moten, Bumstead, Ahmad, Ali Shamshammer, Breon Ansley, Artie Caldwell. How did Artie qualify? What did he win? He must have won something at the end of last year. Danny Hester, Danny Unin, Wesley Vissers, David Hoffman, Arash Rabar, Terrence Ruffin, Sammy Gannon, Jose Marie Buperi, Fabiano Sylvain, Alex Cabernero, Christopher Hunt, Mayangu Park, and DeAndre Campbell, Divine Wilson, Logan Franklin. We have a lot of people here. Sung Jae Pill, Peter Scalo, and Sun Jun Ham. So we got a lot of, and then the top 3 point getters are Jose Marti, Jonathan Hambrick, your guy. And why is George Peterson listed as a top point getter when he's already qualified? He won a shot. I think they didn't update this, so it's supposed to be updated. But Peterson is qualified already.
It's a big lineup in the classic.
Yeah. Oh, I see. He's doing 212, Peterson. Okay, so he had points, but that's irrelevant. So, yeah, it's a very big lineup. The classic might be the most competitive of the whole Olympia.
100% agree.
Now, I know you talk to Jay on a regular basis.
That doesn't mean my most competitive meaning a lot of people can move into different spots. Like, your top 5 might not be that top 5. Don't be surprised if these 5 guys not replace those expected top 5, but anything can happen.
Also, don't forget, we didn't mention, but Keon Pearson will be doing the 212. So we're going to see him in Chicago up against Austin Carr and a couple other great guys. It looks like Chicago's turning out to be, even though it's not going to be in Chicago, it's going to be in Atlanta. It looks like it's turning out to be a really good show. Mm-hmm. So, and once again, people fighting for these final qualification spots. I would assume we're probably going to see John De La Rosa again, probably too, at that show.
No, I think he's shutting it down.
Oh, he's shutting it down. He's not going to do the Olympia this year?
Shutting it.
I wonder why. He likes to compete a lot usually. I bet he competes.
No, I think he's shutting it down because he's training with Kamal and Flex that they're training together.
Oh, so he's trying to help Kamal get.
Flex told me Flex is training with Hassan, with Kamal, and De La Rosa, and Rafael wants to come back.
Oh, really? I didn't know Hassan Mustafa is staying out there too.
Well, he's been there for a couple of weeks.
Is he going back home?
Yeah, he's on his way home soon.
Okay, now he's not competing again?
No, the hemorrhoids is just that was.
Oh, he's still dealing with those, huh? Wow.
It's a debacle.
You never sent me his address, by the way, so I can send the Fiberlize.
So I did tell Flex that so he's got Kamal, who I work with, Hassan, who I work with, and Kamal, Hassan. Who else is he training with?
And what do they do? They all train together, or they just train at his gym?
They train together.
All of them.
All of them. So Rafael wants to come back, and Flex said that's who I work with, and Flex said that's too much, and I said, well, we'll just have to kick John off the team.
So just your guys, in other words.
Yeah.
Yeah, but John lives down there permanently. So.
Well, we'll still have to kick him off the team.
Yeah. That's what they should be filming down there. Those guys training.
Yeah. They love it.
What a good group.
But yeah.
You know what the funny thing is though, and Flex is going to be laughing his ass up when I say this. Flex is the smartest guy. Like Flex looks like Mrs. Haversham. He looks like from Great Expectations. He looks like the greatest benefactor of all time, right? He's like bringing all these guys in, giving them a place to train, and really what he's doing is he's getting these guys there because they're getting his juices going.
No, he said that already to me. He loves it. It gets him going.
Well, think about it. He has his own gym, but having your own gym doesn't create an environment or an energetic environment that gets you motivated like you would if you walked into Gold's Gym Venice. But if you bring in the five of some of the best guys in the world training at your gym and working being your workout partners, that's going to push Flex to a better place, a higher level. So he's smart. He's very smart. In his generosity, he's also he might be pushing himself to greater levels as well.
Yes, I already told him that. What he said when he invited Hassan to come, I thought they knew each other.
Oh, he didn't?
He's never spoken to him, never texted.
Well, he can't. He doesn't speak a word of English, Hassan.
Yeah. So I told him, I said, Flex, that is going to come back to you big time because I thought you knew him and invited him. Instead of the invitation, he said, no, I figured, he's bummed out, he can't compete. And, why not come down here and have some fun and train?
Right. I'm surprised he didn't get Big Ramy out there. That's his competition now, so maybe he doesn't want that.
Big Ramy was with Neil, and then he's with Chad, so that.
Oh, right. That's
you got to read between the lines, Dave.
Yeah, right. There's bad blood there. Exactly. Yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah. So, well, look, the season's as restricted as these shows might be, and you know what? I'd like to get Jay Cutler on the TV show at some point and talk to him about what's going on in Vegas because no one knows better than he does because he talks to everyone. He probably knows all the hotel owners over there. He knows exactly what's going on. And, they're supposed to open everything up, I guess, this week again. This Planet Hollywood is shut down. A lot of people don't realize that. The venue and the hotel where the Olympia is taking place is closed right now, but they're supposed to open it up, I think, tomorrow or the next day. And I'd like to see what Jay's take on the whole thing is and how it's going to go up. But no matter what the restrictions are and the changing of show venues and moving things, we had a season. So, you got to take your hat off to everyone who made it happen, because it wasn't easy. There's no one sponsoring these shows. There's no audiences allowed. You got to do live streams. And you know what? I'm glad that they did something because they could have easily have canceled the whole season. No one would have said a word.
No, except
I wanted to bring up another thing, Chris.
I don't want to jinx it. I hope it goes on.
Don't jinx it. I want to bring. I was so impressed with how Gary Udit and these big shows have been running the competitions. What they do is everyone stays in your hotel room basically and hangs out, and then they shoot you a text message when it's your class's turn to go, and they kind of give you like a heads up. Okay, you got a half hour or whatever, head down to the venue. And I'm like, how the freak? They had 1,400 people at the North American. How the freak how would they coordinate all these text messages, right? It sounds almost unbelievable. There's no way this one person sitting there on a cell phone texting everyone, right? That's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
Well, on the NPC website, I was reading it. They announced, I guess yesterday, that NPC muscle wear, they're calling it, is being implemented across the United States in 2021. Now, muscle wear is the platform, I guess, that runs all these competitions, from the judging to the sending out the notifications via text messages. So I guess they input all the competitors in there, and then this program has the ability. It's like to send out whatever they need to do to notify these people at a moment's notice. Yeah. It generates the athlete list, the scorecards, the crossover reports, expediter sheets, MC sheets, and more. It's pretty amazing, right?
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that the NPC is so high tech now. Can you imagine Blackman trying to figure out the software? Elise, why? How come I can't get into? How come I can't see the competitor lists? Steve, you have 6,000 browser pages open, tabs open. You got to shut at least 2 of them. Oh, how do I do that? Where's my secretary? Steve, you don't have a secretary anymore. We don't make any money over here anymore. We lose money. Get me my yellow pad. I'm getting a text message.
Something's dinging over there, Dave. It's from your wife.
Yeah.
If Dave's reading his text, it's only from his wife.
Yeah, because I have her on emergency override. So that means that no matter what, if I have the phone on silent, I still hear her.
What's it say? Read it to us, Dave.
My younger daughter was yelling so loud. So
it's only
not cooperating. Well, we're out of time. We're done with the show anyway. But I want to just say that, you know what? I want to wish everyone the best of luck, all these competitors who are competing during these hard times and making it happen and getting on stage, bringing their best. If you guys can make it through this 2020 year and compete and make it to the Olympia, you can do it anytime, anywhere, any place, because there's a lot of people that didn't compete this year, a lot of people that took off because they couldn't handle the stress and they couldn't get to the gym and they couldn't get, everything they needed done. If you can get through this, you can get through anything. This is a breeze, I promise you. The next year will be a breeze compared to this, or the year after that and the year after that. But we'll remember. I think 2020 will go down as you and I will be talking about it like two old
Let's just
fogies
get it over with
and telling everyone how bad it was, and no one will ever really know how bad it was unless you live through it. It really changed everyone's life, and hopefully it's not on a permanent basis. Hopefully we can go back to the way it was before. And we'll have to see on that one. But anyway, we will be reporting from this show this coming weekend. And good luck to all the competitors. For now, we're out of time. Until next week, remember, with heavy muscle. Oh, I wanted to bring one more thing up.
Oh, my goodness.
I got to stop.
I was getting ready to say the truth hurts.
No, you can't do it. No truth hurts yet. This weekend, I have my Secrets to Becoming a Diet Guru course online. Okay, if you go to davepalumbo.com, you can the link there to sign up is there. The great thing about the course is if you take the course, you can rewatch the course, something you couldn't do when I do it live when you had to come in person and take it with me here in Cape Coral. Now that it's online, you can watch it for 2 weeks after that. You can just watch uploads. You can rewatch it over and over and over again. So if you miss stuff, if you want to, kind of like really make sure that you understand the content of what's going on, you have the ability to log in and at any time rewatch the course. It's going to be from 9 in the morning to 6 at night. There's an hour break for lunch. You can ask questions. You'll get my 100-page manual, Secrets to Becoming a Diet Guru manual. You get to download it. And I'm telling you guys, this is, if you want to learn about how to be a coach in our business, how to write diets, nutritional supplement regimens, drug cycles, anything related to bodybuilding at all, it's all on the table, guys. You're going to love this course. Make sure you sign up. And we have limited, obviously, space For now, though, we are officially out of time. Until next week, remember, with Heavy Muscle Radio,
The truth hurts.
good night, everybody.